an attorney when you purchase real estate in Pennsylvania or Maryland? Today we're going to talk about that. And I have some clients who will lean one way and always want an attorney, and other clients who will go the other direction and prefer to do it without an attorney. So let's talk about when and how you should make sure that you're appropriately covered from a legal aspect. So first of all, let's just say that it never hurts. It can always be a good idea just to have that extra level of assurance that you have a legal professional who reviews your purchase agreement, your closing documents, and make sure that there's no issue that could hurt your interest. However, there's a couple different layers in there that you could say will affect your decision whether you want to make sure you have a legal professional involved or not. And the first one is, how familiar are you with the process of purchasing real estate? If you're not super familiar, or you're purchasing an investment type that is new for you and not something that you're real experienced in, you should definitely call in a legal professional. Make sure that you're covered and not forgetting something that could hurt you in the end. And the second one is, how in depth is the process and purchase that you're engaging in? So for example, there's some times that I would say this is a time that you should always call in an attorney without an exception. And these are things like, if it's the first time you're purchasing a investment property, call an attorney in just to make sure. If it's a development deal, always make sure that you are properly represented, because oftentimes development deals are very complicated and there could be things that you've never encountered before that could be a stumbling block, even if you're someone who has a lot of experience. So make sure that you're always using an attorney for a development deal. And then additionally, if you have any environmental questions or challenges, always, again, bring in an attorney to make sure that any of those outstanding questions or items that could be a major hang-up to your investment are addressed. When you are deciding whether you're going to engage an attorney or not, there's a few things that you could say, hey, maybe we don't necessarily need one. And one of those things might be, if you're just purchasing, you own 50 multifamily units and you're purchasing another 10-unit building, you probably have a lot of experience, maybe more than your attorney would have in that instance, and you are probably fine going forward on your own. And especially if you are using pre-printed standard agreement of sale forms or other forms that are put out by the Association of Realtors or other professionals, if you're using those standard forms, you're usually fairly well covered. And it's pretty safe to say, if you have good experience in standard forms, that it's going to be a pretty typical and standard purchase agreement. So those are a couple instances that you could say I probably don't need representation as much. But the thing is, when you are a buyer in the transaction, you are typically purchasing title insurance. Title insurance is provided by a lot of attorneys as part of their services for clients. And the cost of the title premium is a cost that you pay at settlement, and oftentimes an attorney will wrap in their review of those settlement documents and purchase agreements as part of the title fee that you're going to be paying anyway. So if you're on the buyer side, likely that cost is already incorporated. On the flip side, if you're on the selling side, it's probably pretty simple and straightforward, and you probably would not incur a very significant cost to have an attorney involved. So again, always a good idea. It's never going to hurt, but just analyzing your situation and how experienced you are, and some of those factors will affect whether you need a legal representation and your attorney involved in your real estate investment, purchase, or sale. I hope this brought you some value. If so, please like, share, and if you are looking for investments in Pennsylvania or Maryland, please reach out to us. We're happy to help.